I woke up that morning feeling strange. Lighter somehow, but also different. Like my body was humming with a subtle energy I couldn't explain. At first, I shrugged it off, blaming a weird dream or the caffeine from last night. But when I got out of bed and caught my reflection in the mirror, my stomach dropped. It wasn't me. Not entirely. My face. It looked softer, rounder, my lips fuller than I remembered. My hair seemed shinier, cascading differently over my shoulders. And then my chest. My chest was unmistakably different. Curves had started to form in places that had never existed before. My hands shook as I touched my face, my hair, my new body. I spun around, searching for the cause, my mind racing. Could I have slept wrong? Was this some weird allergic reaction? And then I remembered the little pills I had been taking, her vitamins she had called them. She insisted they would make me feel more energetic, more vibrant. I had trusted her, like I always did. And now, I was paying the price. Or maybe the reward. I stared into the mirror, heart pounding. My voice. It sounded different. Higher, softer, melodic. I coughed nervously. This isn't real, I whispered to myself. But deep down, I knew it was. Going about my day was surreal. Even brushing my teeth, I felt the strange weight of my new body. Hips slightly wider, thighs softer, chest undeniable. Clothes that had fit perfectly yesterday now hugged me differently, accentuating curves I didn't know I had. The walk to work was even worse. Every reflection in shop windows, every glance from strangers, reminded me of my transformation. Whispers followed me down the street. Is that him? She looks different. Panic coursed through me. I wanted to run, to hide, to disappear, but there was no escape from this body. At the office, things got worse. My colleagues barely recognized me. Some stared openly, some whispered behind their hands, and a few tried awkward compliments. New haircut?" one asked nervously. "No, not exactly," I muttered, my voice betraying me. I avoided the bathroom mirrors, avoided interaction, avoided myself. But everywhere I went, my reflection was inescapable. Even friends weren't spared. Messages from them popped up on my phone. "Wow, you look amazing." "OMG, is that really you?" I couldn't reply honestly. I couldn't tell them it wasn't a choice. That this body, this voice, this existence, had been forced on me. Late at night, when the world was asleep, I found a twisted comfort in my apartment. I began experimenting, tentatively. First, I touched my hair, feeling the silky strands slip through my fingers. Then I tried on some of her clothes, soft fabrics, delicate skirts, tight tops, and the sensation was electric. I was scared, yes, but also curious. I applied a little makeup one night. Lip gloss first, then mascara, eyeshadow, blush. My reflection changed with each stroke. My cheeks looked rosier, my lips plumper, my eyes wider. I tilted my head experimentally, trying out smiles, pouts, subtle expressions. I caught myself giggling softly, a melodic sound that wasn't mine. Or maybe it now was. The thrill was intoxicating. For the first time since the transformation, I felt a flicker of control, albeit in the smallest of ways. I could choose how to present myself in private. I could explore this new body without judgment. And I did. Nights blurred into hours of experimentation. Different outfits, new hairstyles, subtle voice exercises. I recorded myself, whispered to the camera, tested different inflections. The reflection I saw wasn't the old me. It was her. Or perhaps, the me I was becoming. Weeks passed. Every outing, every mirror, every reflection reminded me that life had shifted. My wardrobe had changed completely. Shoes that were once absurdly high now felt natural. Dresses that I thought were too revealing seemed like an extension of me. I started venturing out, cautiously at first. The first time I went grocery shopping, the stares were unbearable. Whispers followed me down the aisles. A man in the produce section lingered too long. I felt my pulse spike, cheeks burning. And yet, a thrill ran through me, dangerous and exhilarating. Coffee shops, boutiques, even the subway. Every glance became a lesson in attention and performance. Some people smiled, others stared, some whispered. And each time, my confidence grew incrementally. I was learning how to carry myself, how to move, how to use the curves of my body to command presence. I wasn't fully comfortable, not yet, but I was learning. And the more I practiced, the more the bimbo persona, her persona, seeped into me. Not just a mask, but something real, something tangible, something thrilling. The first real test came when she invited me out to dinner with her friends. "You're ready," she said, slipping a tight, glittering dress over me. Heels clicked on the wooden floor as I adjusted, feeling every curve accentuated, every movement highlighted. I looked in the mirror and felt a strange mixture of panic and exhilaration. The restaurant was crowded, the air thick with conversation and laughter. Every eye in the room seemed to find me. Whispers followed, gasps, subtle nods of admiration. And yet, somewhere inside, I felt fear clawing. I didn't know if I could handle this exposure. But then, I felt her hand on my back. "Breathe. You're beautiful. You belong here." I exhaled, straightened my spine, and walked into the room. Heads turned. Eyes lingered. And I smiled. I laughed. I flirted subtly, letting the sway of my hips, the tilt of my head, the curve of my smile do the talking. By the end of the night, I realized something profound. The world saw me differently. I had to own it. Not hide, not excuse, not apologize. Own it. Weeks turned into months. My body continued its subtle transformation. Curves deepened, skin smoothed, voice grew melodically feminine. My reflection became less shocking and more familiar, more natural. I experimented with hair, makeup, clothes, even voice modulation. Public outings became my arena. I began to thrive in the attention, learning how to wield it, enjoying the thrill of being desired and admired. The ultimate test came at a rooftop party one summer evening. High heels, sparkling dress, wind teasing my hair. Music thumped from speakers, the city lights stretched endlessly below. Everyone was staring. Some men approached. Some women whispered. Some smiled knowingly. At first, I panicked. I wanted to shrink, to hide, to flee. But then I remembered her words, own her. Or retreat. I smiled, letting the dress hug me, letting my hips sway, letting my new voice carry. I laughed, flirted, twirled in rhythm with the music. And for the first time, I felt fully alive. I wasn't hiding. I wasn't pretending. I wasn't trapped. I was her. Strangers complimented, asked my name, flirted. I responded naturally, without fear, without hesitation. Every glance, every whisper, every touch became a confirmation of my new identity, of the bimbo persona that had become real. The climax came later that night when someone I knew from my old life appeared. My heart skipped. Recognition, shock, surprise. What would they think? Panic clawed at me. But the bimbo I had become stepped forward. Head high, smile bright, voice melodic. "Yes, it's me," I said softly, confidently. They blinked. "You look incredible." And I realized then, I didn't need to apologize. I didn't need to explain. This was me. This was who I had become. And I chose it. The journey after that was a revelation. I fully embraced my new identity. I learned to walk with confidence, to flirt, to charm, to captivate. Makeup, fashion, movement, all became tools, extensions of myself. Friends, strangers, even co-workers responded differently, and I loved it. Not just the attention, but the power, the control, the freedom. She had given me a gift, though at first, I had resisted it. A forced transformation, yes, but one that unlocked a side of me I hadn't dared to explore. Fear had transformed into empowerment. Panic had evolved into thrill. Hesitation had become boldness. Now, when I look in the mirror, I smile. Not in shock, not in disbelief, but in pride. I am her. I am alive. I am beautiful. I am confident. I am bold. Life is unpredictable. The world still stares. But I no longer flinch. I walk with head high, laugh freely, flirt boldly. And every time I do, I remember the lesson the hormones, the pills, the transformation taught me. Sometimes, losing yourself is the only way to truly find yourself. I am no longer the person I was before. I am something new. Something alive. Something free. And I wouldn't change a thing. The first few days after noticing the changes were surreal. Every movement, every glance in a mirror reminded me that my body was no longer mine, or at least, not entirely. My chest felt heavier, my hips curvier, my skin inexplicably softer. Even my hair seemed to have more volume, falling in glossy waves I couldn't stop touching. I tried to go about my normal life. Showered, dressed, grabbed my bag, and headed out for errands. But the world didn't see me the same way. Strangers' eyes lingered longer than usual. Whispers followed me down the street. Even mundane interactions, ordering coffee, checking out at the store, felt charged, tense, like I was performing for an audience I hadn't agreed to. At home, I couldn't stop staring at myself in the mirror. Each day revealed small, subtle changes: the curve of my waist, the softness of my lips, the delicate slope of my shoulders. I touched myself hesitantly, as if confirming this new reality wasn't a dream. Panic and fascination collided. I felt like an intruder in my own body. It didn't take long before curiosity overcame fear. One night, after everyone had gone to bed, I rummaged through her wardrobe. Soft fabrics, lace, silk, clothes that felt completely foreign against my skin, yet exciting. I slipped into a short skirt and a tight top. My reflection in the full-length mirror made me gasp. The outfit hugged my curves in ways I'd never experienced before. My body had transformed into something undeniably feminine, something mesmerizing. I started experimenting with makeup. Lip gloss first, soft pink, then a shimmering nude. Mascara and eyeshadow followed, each stroke reshaping my reflection, accentuating features that had only recently appeared. I tilted my head, smiled, and tried different expressions, marveling at the way my eyes seemed to sparkle. A strange thrill coursed through me. I was scared but also excited. I had never thought of myself as attractive, certainly not like this. And yet, every glance in the mirror made me want to explore more. More clothes, more colors, more angles, more expressions. Days blurred into nights of private experimentation. I practiced walking in heels, swaying my hips, adjusting my posture. I whispered to myself, testing the higher pitch of my new voice, trying out soft giggles and playful tones. My reflection became my confidant, my stage, my secret world. I even recorded videos on my phone. Watching myself speak, laugh, flirt with the camera, I felt a mix of embarrassment and thrill. It wasn't entirely me, not the old me, but it was a side I never knew existed. I caught myself smiling, enjoying the attention I was giving myself. And the more I explored, the more confident I became in these private moments. Public outings were next. I ventured to the corner store in one of her dresses, my legs trembling, my chest obvious under the tight fabric. The stares I received sent jolts of panic through me, but underneath, a strange excitement simmered. People's attention made me aware of my body in ways I had never noticed. My hips swayed more consciously, my movements became deliberate, calculated. At first, I wanted to hide. But slowly, I started to enjoy it. Compliments, hesitant, awkward, or admiring, made me smile in ways I couldn't have imagined. I practiced subtle flirtation with strangers, testing the reactions of the world. It was terrifying. And it was thrilling. She noticed my growing confidence and began guiding me more directly. "You're learning," she said one evening, brushing a strand of hair behind my ear. "But there's more to her than just looks. You need to be her in every gesture, every glance, every word." She taught me to walk in heels without wobbling, to tilt my head just so, to accentuate my curves when I moved. She coached me on voice modulation, playful laughter, soft sighs. I followed her instructions, mimicking, practicing, repeating. And each day I saw myself change, not just physically, but in the way I carried myself. Public outings became lessons. Cafes, parks, even shopping malls. Every place was an opportunity to refine the persona. People looked differently at me now. Men lingered, women smiled, strangers whispered. And slowly, I began to own it. I learned to meet gazes confidently, to smile back, to move deliberately. Fear remained, yes, but it was now tinged with exhilaration. I also discovered subtle pleasures I hadn't anticipated. The soft brush of fabric against my skin, the way heels forced me to balance and sway, the sound of my higher voice when I laughed, all of it became intoxicating. Even mundane actions, reaching for something on a shelf, turning around quickly, felt playful, seductive, exciting. Private nights of experimentation turned into public moments of daring. A walk in the park. A cafe visit. A brief shopping trip. And each time, I tested boundaries, learning what reactions I could evoke, what gestures felt natural, and which expressions drew attention. By the end of these weeks, I had transformed more than my body. I had discovered a side of myself that was fearless, playful, seductive, and undeniably feminine. I was no longer just surviving the changes. I was exploring, experimenting, and beginning to embrace them. The real turning point came when she invited me to a small gathering at her apartment. Friends, colleagues, strangers from the neighborhood, they were all there. She helped me into a sparkling dress that clung to my curves, applied makeup expertly, and whispered, "Tonight, you're going to see what she can do." I was terrified. My heart raced as I walked through the door. The stares were immediate. Compliments flew. I felt panic rise, but beneath it, excitement blossomed. For the first time, I wasn't hiding. I wasn't apologizing. I was being seen. People laughed with me, admired me, flirted subtly. I responded naturally, letting the sway of my hips, the tilt of my head, the curve of my smile speak. I realized then that I was beginning to enjoy the attention, the power, the thrill of inhabiting this new persona in public. By the end of the night, I knew I had changed irrevocably. My body, my voice, my movements, they were hers, yes, but they had also become mine. And for the first time, I felt a strange, exhilarating freedom. I thought I had grown used to the attention, the whispers, the stares, the subtle glances, but nothing could have prepared me for Friday night. She had planned it, of course. "Tonight, everyone sees you," she said, eyes gleaming. "No hiding, no excuses." My chest tightened, my pulse raced. A public outing on this scale was terrifying. I could imagine the comments, the double takes, the judgment. My old self wanted to bolt, to vanish into the shadows. But the part of me that had been exploring, experimenting, teasing out the edges of this new identity, that part, it was curious. And maybe, just maybe, it was ready. She dressed me in a tight, glittering dress that clung to every curve, and heels that made my legs feel impossibly long. Her hands brushed against mine as she adjusted my hair. "Breathe. You're beautiful. You belong here," she whispered. I stared in the mirror. The reflection was unfamiliar, yet magnetic. Soft lips, wide eyes, curves that I had grown into but never owned until now. I took a deep breath, squared my shoulders, and stepped out. The street was alive with neon lights and thrumming music from nearby bars. Every step in my heels echoed through the night. People's eyes found me immediately, lingering longer than necessary. Some whispered, some stared openly, and a few smiled knowingly. My heart thumped against my ribcage, a mix of fear and exhilaration I had never felt before. And then it happened. A group of co-workers appeared, laughing and talking as they approached. Recognition hit me like a jolt. My pulse raced. Their eyes widened, mouths half open in disbelief. "Oh wow," one of them managed, voice trembling. "Is that really you?" "Yes," I said, voice soft, melodic, teasing almost. "It's me." They froze, unable to process the transformation. Some laughed nervously, others stared, mouths agape. I felt a thrill ripple through me. I had expected shame, maybe embarrassment, but instead, power, presence, recognition. For the first time, I realized that I could command attention. That fear could coexist with confidence. That I could be captivating without apology. She guided me through the night. At the club, the lights pulsed, the music vibrated through my chest, and the crowd moved around us like a living organism. I followed her instructions at first: tilt the head, sway the hips, let my laugh be melodic. But soon, I stopped needing her. I was performing naturally, effortlessly. People noticed. Compliments flew. Flirtations, subtle touches, whispered curiosity. It all fed into a growing confidence I hadn't imagined possible. I felt magnetic, irresistible, alive. And it terrified me, because it wasn't just physical. It was psychological, emotional, complete. Then, someone from my past appeared. A friend I hadn't seen in months. Recognition lit up their eyes. Shock. Confusion. Curiosity. You look incredible, they whispered, voice barely audible over the music. Thanks, I replied, my voice lilting, playful, confident. I batted my lashes automatically, smiled, leaned in slightly. I didn't hide. I didn't flinch. I didn't apologize. For the first time, I realized I didn't need to. The real test came a few hours later. Someone, charming, confident, invited me outside for a quiet conversation away from the pulsing crowd. My heart hammered. Panic clawed at me. Old instincts screamed to run, to explain, to revert to the person I used to be. She appeared beside me, hand brushing my cheek. This is your choice. Own her. Or retreat. I froze. My reflection in the glass doors caught my eye. The bimbo she had shaped me into stared back. Confident, alluring, undeniable. My chest swelled, my lips parted, and in that instant, I made the choice. I smiled. I nodded. I took his hand. Not out of fear, not out of compulsion, but out of desire. Because I chose her. Outside, under the city lights, the world felt electric. Every movement, every glance, every flutter of my lashes was mine, fully mine. I laughed softly, a high melodic sound, feeling power surge through me. I had crossed a line I never thought I could, and it felt liberating, intoxicating. By the time we returned home, I was exhausted, heart racing, yet elated. She waited, eyes glittering with pride. Do you see now? She asked. Yes, I said simply. I'm ready. She didn't need to ask what I meant. The choice was clear. The transformation wasn't just cosmetic. It was psychological, emotional, total. I had stepped fully into the identity she had created. And for the first time, I owned it. Alone later that night, I stood before the mirror. My reflection smiled back, not in shock, not in disbelief, but in pride. Every curve, every movement, every subtle tilt of my head was hers, yes, but also mine. I traced my lips with my fingertip, feeling the softness, the new contours, the curves. I whispered softly, almost to myself, this is me now. And it was. The hormones, the pills, the forced transformation, they had created her. But I had chosen to inhabit her. I had crossed fear with exhilaration, panic with confidence. I had become alive in ways I never imagined. I wasn't just a girl now. I wasn't just a bimbo, or a reflection of someone else's design. I was me. Powerful. Alluring. Free. And I knew that, from this moment forward, there was no turning back.